Yeah, Penn State coming off a national championship, and you have Michigan State kind of on the up and up. The Lions, setter Addie Lyon, Emmy Selman, and Kennedy Martin, the hitters, Gabrielle Nichols and Maggie Meadows in the block. Serving for the Spartans, 6'3" out of Istanbul, Turkey. Spartans versus Nittany Lions. Let's rock and roll from Happy Valley. First swing comes on a roll shot from Kennedy Martin. Mumjalar had to get down to get it. Swing from Shana Stefska. Selman's underneath it. Back to Martin again. First contact from Malaya Long. Free ball from Michigan State. Here comes Selman cross court. And the first point of the match is a long one. Stanishevska sends it long. And point number one goes the way of the blue and white.
After just 1 point, we can already see the way this game is going to go. Schneider taking one right off the chest. Gritty, tough, ready for the next point.
They have Jillian Grimes back to serve. 27 aces on the season. And a tough receive. We'll push over from Evie Duzema. And a roll shot off speed. Emmy Selman makes it 2-0 Nittany Lions.
For today, it's going to be really important to see Michigan State's response to adversity. Nobody likes being swept by their in-state rivals. How are you going to come into Rec Hall and put away a top 25 team?
Float serve from Grimes. Here comes Stanishevska off the hands. Grimes is there. Nichols out of the middle. Tried to go campfire push over from Carmen Way. And it doesn't land down inbounds, but everyone was calling for a touch. Looks like Kristen Kelsey doesn't have the green card out, though. Just going to chat things over, and actually we'll get a challenge for a touch.
Using a challenge this early.
And Jillian Grimes still back to serve. One of the better players behind the line for this Penn State squad. Duzema tries to go cross court. And it's kept up for the moment by Faldudo. Back to your point, Michaela, but it lands out of play. And the Spartans will get their first point of the evening.
One, I think that's great by Faldudo, just being so athletic back there, but also Michigan State's response to adversity, not getting the touch call.
That's the starting opposite. Evie Duzema, the senior out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. And Leah Schneider, the libero, sends it into the net. Penn State gets one back. We haven't talked about Kennedy Martin enough. Her serving game is also unparalleled. Leading the team in aces. A bit of pressure at the net as it rolls off the tape. Nichols out of the middle. Pushed up by Schneider. Tracking it is Duzema. Mumchalar got a swing to the back row. Here comes Selman. Got to reach for it. Net play, and it lands on the side of the Spartans. Nichols wisely lets it go. Penn State up 5-1 to start it off.
Michigan State off balance that entire point. And back to your point about the Kennedy Martin serve. Had an overpass right away. Penn State was able to take advantage of it from the start.
It all starts with the serve, even on a long rally like that. Trying to push it through was Cooling. She got sent back, though. And Penn State just poured it on early. Penn State took both matches last year. Went 4 in State College, went 3 in East Lansing. Long Cessna Stanishevska off speed. Punch up from Martin. Here comes the free ball from Grimes. Great defense by the Nittany Lions. Stanishevska again off the hands. Grimes playing great back row defense, and look out below. Here comes Kennedy Martin.
And did we see that emotion that Kennedy Martin just showed? Bang, bang, and she did all 3 of her back row threats in just 1 point. The serve, the dig, and then she finished it off with a typical Kennedy Martin kill.
Just typical day at the office for Kennedy Martin, the junior out of Fort Mill, South Carolina. First year in blue and white coming over from Florida. Lyon with the setter dump. Covered nicely. Comes Stanishevska cross court. Great dig from Faldudo, and Martin gets it again. Everything coming up blue and white to start.
When we spoke with a few Big Ten Plus coaches, we talked about how Martin, but how are you going to contain her, and then also being able to stop the players around her. She's going to do her damage, and they know that. But all the coaches have said the same thing.
Funny how many coaches have said that verbatim as the freshman Gabby Nichols gets a stuff to her name, and out of the timeout, Penn State keeps the run going with Martin behind the line. Go off speed, got Mumchalar napping. Here comes Stanishevska, and she will get the kill. Karolina Stanishevska, kill number 300 on the season. That leads the Spartans.
Coming out of that timeout, Coach Kelsey probably said something along the lines of, let's do what we do best. Therefore, they set up Stanishevska, and she was able to do damage, focusing on the Spartan offense.
Hitting 206 on the season, junior out of Warsaw, Poland. Comes Selman. Cam Berger now in the game. Roll shot from Stanishevska. Lions set Selman once more. Tracking it, Schneider. It was Courtly that time. Here comes Nichols. Little net play, shoved through from Selman. And she'll get the kill. So 10-2 as Caroline Jerevish is going to check into the game for the Nittany Lions, in for Ava Faldudo. So a little bit more offense now on the court for Penn State.
Offense in the front, but also Kennedy Martin in the force she always brings to the game in the back row.
Berger sets for Daniel Courtly. And a big kill for the captain out of Katy, Texas. In her second year with the Spartans, coming over from Rice 2 years ago. Had an injury last year, so missed a lot of time, and now back in action. The 6'1" grad student. Stanishevska sends it long. Jocelyn Nathan also in the game. Wisely lets it go. As Grimes checks out, Maggie Mendelson back in for Penn State.
Maggie Mendelson, one of the players that Coach Kelsey mentioned that they need to be able to slow down in order to be victorious against the Nittany Lions.
Gabby Nichols sends it long. Back to your point, of course, every coach is going to talk about Kennedy Martin, but when teams focus on Martin, everyone in the back of their mind is kind of thinking Mendelson's the next person we need to watch out for, because she's become so much more of a well-rounded player with her shot selections, playing both offense and defense in that middle blocker spot.
And if Mendelson's not having a night, you can count on Jervicious or another one of their pin hitters that are so aggressive and been able to win them games.
And the middle blockers, Susanna Cooley gets an ace. And Michigan State starting to find their mojo a bit. They've cut the lead to 6. Kulig 6'4", another Poland native. Mendelson, awkward angle, gets it over. Berger sets to Bianca Mumchalar, sent back by Maggie Mendelson.
Jervicious and Mendelson able to close that block and celebrate after with a chest bump. The communication there was key at the net to be able to close that off and just destroy the ball back at the ground.
Behind us, there was someone giving a cheer in a Nebraska volleyball quarter zip because Nebraska football is in town this weekend, so a few fans getting 2 for the price of 1. Lions sets forward for Martin. Big dig from Schneider, and Mumchalar going to let it drop into the student section. An 8-point lead for the blue and white.
If the student section was able to play the ball like the Savannah Bananas, that point would still be live.
Can we have volleyball banana ball?
I don't know if that's a thing, but we can make it.
I think Rec Hall would be a great place to have that. Take notes, guys. Berger sets out of the middle, the middle blocker, Carmen Way. Mendelson does one of her own. Shoved over by Berger, but great dig from Grimes. Mendelson misplayed it. Goes the way of the Spartans.
Penn State really limiting their mistakes right now, not giving up a lot of points and finishing them off when they have Michigan State off balance. For Michigan State, being off balance and being able to recover is going to be key moving forward through the rest of this match.
And a lot of the games that Penn State has struggled in has been because they haven't done the fundamentals right, whether that's just the serve pass game, getting more players involved. All the little things do add up. Martin cross court. Long, out of the middle to Stanishevska. And saved for the moment, and indeed saved by Jillian Grimes. Some tremendous defense. And Duzema, cross court for the kill.
I expect to see Michigan State get better as this goes on, just because you adjust to the speed of which Kennedy Martin is hitting the ball. Therefore, as you go on, you're probably going to be able to see that better and get more ups on her hard swings.
Brings up the setter long. First contact, Grimes. Mendelson out of the middle. And good luck stopping the former Cornhusker Maggie Mendelson. They look at the stat on your screen, 14 kills against Michigan State last season, 6 in the Big Ten in hitting percentage in 2025. Had the most points of any returner last year on this team. Duzema, tough play. Selman takes it from the midpoint. At the net, pushed through by Carmen Way, and they can't track it. And Carmen Way, the middle blocker out of Halifax, Nova Scotia, cuts the lead back to 6 points.
And Malaya Long with a fantastic one-handed set right at the net, setting up middle blocker to be able to put the ball away.
He's had 5 Big Ten games above 330, Carmen Way. And Martin, saved by Shauna Stefska. Under its grime, back to Emmy Selman. Here comes the net play, and a slam down from Mendelson. But they will say that she was over the line. It'll go the way of the Spartans.
Sometimes when the ball is just set up right there for you, get a little ahead of yourself, caught the net just a bit to give the point to the Spartans.
Mendelson again. Right back to what works. 15-9. Penn State on top of the Spartans. They've done a good job of working their way back to hold their own for the moment. Stanishevska pushes through and got it.
By Stanishevska, she just did a great job being able to manufacture a point there and move around the offense. Doing different things when she goes up at the net is going to be so important moving into the rest of this match, keeping the Penn State defense off balance.
He was the big heavy hitter against Michigan, 13 kills against the Wolverines. Under it, Schneider. Tough play from Duzema. Martin with the dig. Emmy Selman. Running up is Stanishevska. Pushed through by Grimes. Selman again. That one lands out of play. Nothing Leah Schneider can do, and Emmy Selman leading the way for the Nittany Lions with 4 kills.
One thing I'm noticing right now about Michigan State is that all their digs are going very high. They're giving Penn State defense a lot of time to recover, getting back into positions, and then be ready for their offense.
Martin skimmed the net. Running up, Stanishevska. Lying forward for Martin. He's looking for the corner, won't get it. Michigan State cuts the lead to 5. Back to your point on Emmy Selman, though, leading the way early on for Penn State in kills. She's had 17 games where she's hit below 200, but in 3 of her last 6, she's hit over 280. So finding her groove in the final few weeks of conference play. The setter Cam Berger serving it. Joust that's kept on the side of Penn State, and Martin flat-footed.
I don't think anybody saw that coming. Not me, not you. Not even a jump out of her, and she's able to put the ball down. What can't she do?
You can do that when you're 6'6". Jaravicius back in for foul Dudo. And all smiles on the side of Penn State. Float serve from Selman. Here comes Courtley. Jaravicius with the push through. Courtley again, a lot of push play. Selman can't get the pancake. And Daniel Courtley gets kill number 2 on the night. Courtley, an all-freshman in 2021 when Rice was in the Conference USA, moving over to the AAC. Regardless of conference, was a 2-time conference second teamer with the Rice Owls before moving up north to East Lansing. Here comes Martin. That's typical Kenny Martin point.
So impressive the way she's able to jump behind the 10-foot line and land right next to the net, put the ball away.
Penn State up 6. Out of the middle for Kulig. Here comes Caroline Jaravicius. Rejected, but out of play.
Saw some adversity at the net there between Juravicius and Kulig. Not exactly sure what happened, but Juravicius was sure and made sure that she knew that that was out.
One of the benefits of being one of the hardest hitters in the Big Ten, and a violation against the Spartans. So Penn State gets a freebie, first to 20, up 8. And it's freshman Lexi Jin, her first action of the night. 5'6" DS out of Indianapolis. Sinking serve. Out of the middle is Kulig. Didn't get all of it. Free ball from Jocelyn Nathan. They'll go right back to Kulig, and she'll get the kill. And a great job of Michigan State kind of not giving up on that. Kulig, they kind of had a bit of miscommunication the first time, but second time around, she'll get the kill. Now Maya Bolton's in the game for Michigan State. Now something we were kind of talking before the game, that Michigan State not afraid to kind of use everyone on their roster. First contact, Juravicius. Can't fire from Maggie Mendelson. Gather around, number 44 gets another kill.
Back to your point about Michigan State being able to use so many players. As a team playing them, it makes it really hard to scout when you're not sure who is coming, because you're not going to scout everybody, but just being able to dial in on those players and the key ones is difficult for Penn State to scout.
Setter Addie Lyon. Sends a rocket to the back row. Running up is Mumchalar off the hands. And a great kill from the Spartans.
Nathan going flying into the stands to try and keep that point alive. Just short of the ball.
Mumchalar, her first kill on the night. 10 or more kills in half of the Big Ten games played this season. Season high 19 against Purdue. Puts the setter Malaya long. With the Spartans down 7, number 7 to serve, and it's long.
As a redshirt freshman, being able to come in here as a setter and perform at a high level and lead this team to places it hasn't been since 2017 speaks to what Long has been doing, but also underneath Kelsey's leadership.
The former Marquette Golden Eagle, team that fell to Penn State in the Sweet 16 last year in the NCAA tournament. Sitting behind Yadira Anchante and Marquette. A lot of chaos on the floor. Faldudo and Grimes almost run into each other. Now back to Mumchalar. Block kept up. Out of the middle. To Stanishevska, and nobody was home. Mendelson and Martin lead the way, and 2 points from a set 1 victory for Penn State.
Way thought that one went a bit further, but really it was just right in front of her. Just a miscommunication there on the Spartan side. Something I expect them to clean up as this match goes on.
Absolutely. Way out of the middle and got it through Mendelson and Martin that time. And that's the interesting thing for Michigan State, is that even though they might not get it the first time, the second time they'll do the same thing, and they trust in themselves.
They're fearless. They're not afraid to do the same thing twice, even if that's a risk.
Now Mumchalar goes back to serve. Selman pushed through, gets the kill. And that all started with the receive from Jillian Grimes, and that was something that Kristen Kelsey talked about, was she's a stud. You can't serve to Jillian Grimes, because Penn State, more often than not, will get the point, and now it's set point for the Nittany Lions with the libero Grimes to send it off. Way with the hot hands. Nichols out of the middle and got it down. And set 1 goes to the Nittany Lions, 25-15. Full control for the blue and white.
The Nittany Lions were able to just mix up speeds, change up their offense, utilize a number of different hitters, and ultimately limit their mistakes, allowing them to be victorious. 10 points over Michigan State.
Nation right now.
Something that I just love about college volleyball too is the rivalries, and like you said, throw out the stat book. Yeah, but ultimately just the way these girls are able to compete when the moment gets so big, dial in on what matters, and represent something bigger than themselves, and that's their school. And
that was something that Kristen Kelsey mentioned when we asked her about the fact that Michigan State is fighting for a bubble spot, trying to stay in the tournament, where she said, I've been on teams where they're just counting down the days to Christmas regardless. They said, when we kind of talked about the fact that there might be only 2 weeks left of volleyball, there were some legit tears in the locker room as a team that wants to compete and wants to make themselves known on the national stage once more, trying to get to their first tourney since 2017. But Kenny Martin trying to stop that. She'll get the first point of set 2.
When we were talking with Coach Kelsey, I actually felt chills because I've been there, being on the bubble, and just all the emotions that come with it.
Valdudo serves. Berger pushes up for Courtly and sends it far, trying to go over the hands, can't do it. And to your point, that's Penn State softball's Michaela Barbonette, for those that don't know.
Played volleyball in high school.
Yeah. Did it all.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah. And Valdudo with a good ace. Little help from your friend, a little help from your net tape.
I don't think anybody on the offensive side will ever complain about the net tape.
Valdudo, 34 aces last year, has 23, or now 24 on the season. 6 in the last 4 games with a sophomore out of Elmhurst, Illinois. Pushed through from Emmy Selman. Comes Courtly. Covered nicely by Grimes. Mendelson out of the middle, and Martin can't run up to it.
A few people on this court from Illinois, including Coach Kelsey, Coach Katie Schumacher-Colley, and a few girls from Michigan State as well, assuming that they all played together at Sports Performance Volleyball Club, one of the best in the Midwest.
And I've said the person right next to me is from Illinois as well.
Right outside the airport, O'Hare, everybody knows it.
Shout out Itasca.
Shout out Itasca.
And Martin gets another one. Bumchalar couldn't keep it in the air. And set 2 playing out pretty similarly to set 1, with Penn State having control of the early points. 310 to 043 are the hitting percentages. There's another Illinois native out of Westchester, Illinois. Grimes to serve. And Bumchalar rejected by Gabby Nichols, but it will be a point for the Spartans.
Bumchalar being able to respond to adversity there. She kind of had her head down at the point prior, but right there being able to flip the switch, something so unique to volleyball, that the next point is happening right in front of you.
And Bumchalar is just a freshman out of Istanbul, Turkey. Serving is Malaya Long. Pinballed around, kept up by Stanishevska. Comes Bumchalar, recycled by Michigan State. Now Carmen way out of the middle, and she'll get it.
Bumchalar out of Turkey, but Jack, looking at this roster, how many people do we see from outside of the United States?
There's a lot of international flair. Long again behind the line. Nichols covered by Schneider. Backing up is Bumchalar, had to avoid the antenna. From Selman again. Almost knocked Schneider off her feet. Net play, collision on the Michigan State side allows the Nittany Lions to win it, and they'll go back up 2. Bumchalar and Way came together trying to call for the ball. So now here's Martin to serve. Come off a 34-kill game against Ohio State. Ties her career high. Here comes Bumchalar. Sent back. Addie Lyon and Gabby Nichols.
Everybody gets so excited with the Addie Lyon block because she does a lot of things well, but blocking is something that she's really been working on. Seeing her be able to put down the Spartan offense, very impressive to her teammates.
Especially as a setter that's 5'9". Tuzuma, and another rejection. Nichols and Selman joins the party.
Something is working at the net right now for the Nittany Lions. Not exactly out of character, but something they haven't done well all season, like you said, doing it really well right now.
A team that's 14th in the Big Ten in blocks per set. They average 2.05. They only have 2 blocks in this frame. Tuzuma. And the block out of play. Tough angle on both sides.
Going back to Penn State blocking, as teams often split up their seasons into a preseason, Big Ten play, and postseason, and maybe blocking is the postseason success for Penn State.
Bumchalar. Comes Emmy Selman. Grimes covers. Back to Selman. Now way off speed. Nichols to respond. Kept in the air by the green and white. Free ball from the Spartans. There comes Selman again. Schneider tries to track it, runs out of room, and Emmy Selman having a solid showing, her 6th kill of the evening.
Something very different about Rec Hall is that it's pretty narrow, and you got to keep the ball pretty tight to continue play because the stands are right next to you.
We've had some close calls here as well.
We can catch.
Yeah. I give a few players a high five as well.
A coach or two.
Yeah. We've had our fair share of close calls. Play at the net, and Stanishevska got high and got it down. So Selman comes out, Nathan goes in for Penn State. And serving is the libero Schneider, the former South Florida Bull. Was an AAC second teamer last season. And she'll get an ace. Nathan kind of reacted last minute, had to slide down, and a tough receive. Michigan State cutting the lead to 2.
The closest they've been all match so far. Looking forward to how they're going to take advantage of this moment.
She had 33 aces last year with South Florida. Nathan with a better receive that time. Running up is Martin, and a lateral dig from Schneider. Now here comes Stanishevska. Covering it is Kennedy Martin. Jaravicius with the push through. Back to Stanishevska and through the block. Nichols and Lyon couldn't get it that time. Michigan State holding their own now.
I love the way Caroline Jaravicius was able to slow that point down, like you said, the push through, but just pushing that right over the block, allowing her defense to reset and get back into position.
And that's something that she's talked about being a lot better with, not going full throttle all the time. The shot selection has been better, but she'll be sent packing that time by the Spartan block, and we're tied at 8. So Schneider's had quite a run from behind the line. It's a 4-0 run for the Spartans. Trying to take their first lead of the match. Martin at a back pedal, under it's Leah Schneider. Now here comes Stanishevska, trying to stay hot. They'll go back to her. Cross court, and they'll let it drop. Michigan State takes the lead.
Addie Lyon just setting up Kennedy Martin just a bit behind the 10-foot line, not being able to take advantage on offense on that set. (9-8). Michigan State down 1-0 in the match.
Lyon, Nichols on the slide. Did she find the line? She does. And a freshman that has stood out on this Nittany Lion team, Katie Schumacher-Colley at times, says that she's the best blocker for Penn State. Making the slide work that time.
The way she was able to get around the block and hit diagonally and keep the ball in bounds is not something you see a middle hitter do every single day. Very special to Nichols.
The 6'2 freshman out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, sinking serve. Comes Duzema. At the net, Stanishevska's gonna win it. So now they're back up 1. And a sub. A little bit of miscommunication, but make sure everyone stands in line. Everybody dotting their T's and crossing their I's, but that allows Cam Berger to come back in the game. Michigan State running that 6-2 formation. Not often that you see it in the college level.
Especially in the Big Ten. And be careful with those rotations because that could lose you a point. In a game like this, you don't want to give any freebies.
Mendelson wins the joust. Here comes Stanishevska off the hands. Great cover from Penn State. Mendelson off the slide. Here comes Stanishevska again. Bounces off the net. Covering it's Martin. Jaravicius opposite pin. She got the hands. And Caroline Jaravicius gets her first kill tonight.
I love the passion she brings to the court, but also the power behind her swing.
Yeah, she's been better at trying to control when and where to do that, but her bread and butter is just take a full swing and see what happens. More often than not, good things happen. A lot of net play. A little slap from Martin. Here comes Stanishevska trying to go down the line. A bit too far. Brandon, the line judge. And no line judge is not in.
Sometimes that's confused, huh?
Maybe if you're...
The typical volleyball fan, maybe.
It's not. Puts the center line to serve. 23 aces on the season. Comes Courtley. Line gets the dig. Running up is Martin. Great dig from Schneider. Mendelson terminates it. Schneider couldn't get back in a position, and Maggie Mendelson gets her 4th kill, finally hitting in the positives.
Right before Mendelson nailed that, I was impressed by Courtley in the way she was able to take out Addie Lyon. But Jillian Grimes has done a great job all season of being able to set her pin hitters off of an out-of-system ball.
And also kudos to Leah Schneider. She's been all over the court tonight. And a kill for the Spartans. Once again, it's Stanishevska trying to take over this offense. It ends a 3-0 run for the Nittany Lions with kill number 6 on the night, her 23rd swing. Now she'll serve, but out of play. Nathan and Martin call it off. So Jaravicius and Nathan will come out. Selman and Faldudo back in. Faldudo behind the line. Something that Michigan State should watch out for. She's known to go on some pretty good serving runs. Tough receive from Mumchalar. She'll run up and take the swing. Take from Faldudo. Here comes Martin. Trying to regather. Here comes Courtley. Rejected. Net play and a tip off of Martin. You tried to get that ball.
We both did.
Yeah, we did. I'll take blame.
I guess I can too.
Yeah, but Penn State back up 1. Or Michigan State cuts the lead to 1. Get a little sweep from the ground screw.
Michigan State against a Kennedy Martin block right now is going for a lot of roll shots, trying not to play into what she does best, and that's be big, put hitters away. Giving that roll shot just right over the block to take out Addie Lyon has been key so far to their success in staying and keeping this game within 1 point.
Yeah, Kennedy Martin first in the Big Ten, second in the nation in kills per set, 5.3. Faldudo plays it. Running up is Selman, and sent packing by Carmen Way. Tied again, set 2 a lot closer than set 1 was. It was a 10-point win for the Nittany Lions in the first frame. Spartans trying to respond and get a ranked win to bolster their tournament claims. Mendelson trying to say no, though. Goes one-on-one with Cam Berger. And the North Ogden, Utah native wins that battle.
We're not the tournament committee, and we don't decide who goes and who doesn't, but understanding how vital this win could be and going in to the break 2-0 rather than 1-1.
This game could do a lot for Michigan State in terms of where they'll fall in the postseason rankings. A swing from Gabrielle Nichols. It has been a while since the Spartans have taken victory in Happy Valley. Swing from Mumchalar, and out of timeout, Michigan State cuts it to 1.
Across the Big Ten, talking to coaches, we've heard that Rec Hall is not an easy place to come into and win. And when they do so as a team, it is an accomplishment.
73-3 all-time in postseason play for Penn State at Rec Hall. And this is the place they have called their home for their entire existence. Lyon to Martin. And Malaya Long just kind of sits there and goes, what do I do? Not much. When Kennedy Martin's taking a swing, her 8th kill of the night.
And she did so with so much poise.
Just kind of nonchalant, too, as well. Just, you know, normal evening. Sunday drive, if you will.
Something like that.
Long turns around, finds Duzema. Dig from Grimes. Selman free ball, diving to grab it is Stanishevska. Here comes Kuzma with the push through. Here comes Martin through the block. Overpass, skipped in the air. Lyon and Nichols out of the middle, and they'll get the kill. And all that was started from someone you're very high on. That's Jillian Grimes, the libero.
I was just telling Jack how much I think Jillian Grimes gets underrated because she's so good. I mean, yes, she's rated and she's great, but the athletic plays she makes and the way she's able to move laterally is second to none.
7th in the Big Ten in digs per set this season at 3.5. A second teamer in the Big Ten last year, Navy Duzema gets a kill. Someone that Kristen Kelsey highlighted, one of the seniors on this team, has gone through 3 head coaches, and she mentioned that there's probably about 10 or 12 portal windows that she could have left, but chose to stay in East Lansing. One of the key contributors and a captain for the Spartan squad. Selman goes cross court, brings the lead back up to 3. We'll see the first action of Jordan Hopp in the game. She'll sub in with Selman behind the line. Jordan Hopp, the second-year Nittany Lion, spent her first 4 seasons at Iowa State. Taking a back seat to Gabby Nichols in the middle blocker spot, though. Stanishevska on the push through. Dig from Martin. Hopp tries to go off the slide, but a tough angle won by Carmen Way.
By Stanishevska just being able to set up for that block exactly where the set was so effective and made her successful in that point.
It's got a right place, right time, and you take advantage of it. Again, doing the little things right goes a long way in these kind of matchups. Grimes calls everyone off, guides it for Jaravicious, and she's blocked. Nobody backing her up.
Something that Coach Kelsey mentioned and that we talked about on my team as well is just that victory is in the details. Whether that's how you set up, how you communicate, you're going to win doing the small things right.
And for you also say it's hard to win as well.
I do say that. It is really hard to win, especially in this competitive conference across all sports. The Big Ten is elite.
9 bids to the NCAA tournament last year. By some projections, maybe a few more added to the postseason play this year. Big swing from Stanishevska, a great dig from Grimes. Jaravicious had to go backhand. Here comes Duzema, and she's rejected by Jaravicious.
Martin and Nathan able to laugh that one off. Martin with the assist there, but also just kind of bodied Nathan out of the way, now laughing, giggling about it all now.
And Kenny Martin's a full foot taller than Jocelyn Nathan as well.
Jocelyn Nathan, I don't think stood a chance there.
No. I would not want to be in her shoes.
Me either.
The freshman Nichols to serve. Penn State up 2 in the second set. Michigan State trying to fake Penn State out. Unsuccessful. Schneider bumps it up for Stanishevska trying to go down the line. Nobody home.
Mendelson was ready for the Spartan setter dump. That tells me that during film or something that they discussed prior to this game, they knew that she was going to do that. Some record at some school. This is a school with so much legacy and players that have come through here and been so successful. So for Martin being able to do this is just a testimony to how she's been able to just stay within herself and compete at the highest level.
And her first year as well, and that's also rally scoring era. I'll put that in the context, and a violation goes against the Spartans. A free point for the Penn State Lions. They're up 4.
You mentioned the rally scoring era. I would love to see how this team would do in that type of environment. Serving is different. So many things change when you change out of rally scoring. So interesting and fun how they changed it now.
I've talked with some coaches, and they're kind of like, it's a lot better now. Has a big swing from Stanishevska, where it would be a lot of time doing nothing. That's what Penn State men's volleyball coach Mark Pavlik said. We'd sit there for 3 hours and not a lot would happen.
Especially the way the men serve. Not to mention Michael Schroeb coming on the stream
here
very soon. We're excited to talk to him.
Of course, Penn State on the men's side taking their title in the EIVA. Fell to Hawaii in the tournament last year in Columbus, but the Warriors coming to town in January. First time since 2002. We'll chat with Michael Schroeb about that coming into the third frame.
I'm always so jealous of where they get to travel to.
Well, hey, you're going to Oregon this year. That should be fun.
Heard good things about Eugene, actually.
Comes Jaravicious, pushed through. Covered by Mumchalar. A long set for Courtly. Nathan had to run up. Mendelson, another campfire. And 2 away from going up 2-0. Things that went right for them. Tough serve from Lyon. She'll get the ace. And that makes it set point once more for the Nittany Lions, with the grad student setter behind the line. That call rises to its feet, a 3-0 run for the blue and white. First contact, Stanishevska. Running up to get it, Stanishevska. It's covered, play up by Berger, tough angle from Courtly. Grimes to Martin, had to find her balance. Nathan back row dig. Jaravicious, pinballed off the net. Won by Cooligan Courtly.
Great job just closing that block. Talks about the scout that Michigan State has put together against Jaravicious, being able to just take away that part of her game.
So now Stanishevska, who has stuffed the stat sheet so far, sends it to Jaravicious. Mendelson out of the middle. And the overpass lands out of play, and that's how set 2 will come to a close. A 25-19 set 2 victory for the Nittany Lions. Looking for the sweep.
I think it's going to be so important.
Team, you guys kind of collaborating, working together, seeing you guys, out supporting each other in the different seasons. What's it like watching them on the court? What have you seen so far from this one?
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, the women's team is great. Iron sharpens iron, and they have a lot of pieces. Kenny Martin, as we see right there, takes a big swing off the block. She's a dog. There's just a lot of dogs out there, and it kind of replicates all through Rec Hall.
That's how you start set 3, 1-0 in the match.
Michael, you've been able to perform in so many high-pressure situations. You came out, you're the tournament MVP, EIVA player. Talk to me about how you're able to perform in high-pressure situations.
Yeah, I mean, we practice in these situations all the time. It doesn't go without saying the coaching and players that I'm around all the time, all the staff. We put a lot of work into really getting into stressful situations, making ourselves uncomfortable and beginning to get comfortable in those situations. So it's really good. And I definitely see it translating to games.
Scores 1-1 off of a Grimes service error. Addie Lyon pushing forward for Martin, and Grimes gets the dig. Back to Emmy Selman trying to get the hands, and she will. So 2-1 in favor of Michigan State. But of course, talk about last year EIVA champs, but also looking forward to next year. A lot of fun matchups going out to Long Beach State, Hawaii coming here for the first time since 2002. What are some of your thoughts coming into this season?
Yeah, really looking forward to it. We just finished up our fall season right now. A lot of good scrimmages throughout the fall. Definitely got better throughout the year so far, and big games coming up, and that's what we're most looking forward to.
And you've played since your freshman year. You have so much experience now, taking on an even bigger leadership role going into your junior year. Talk about how much experience means when you play at this level, play in this high of a competitive environment.
Yeah, I mean, college volleyball in Division I is definitely one of one. It definitely helps being able to kind of get that experience throughout my freshman year and being put around guys that have kind of taken me in through those years, guys that have graduated, freshmen, all throughout, have really pushed me to kind of be the player I am.
Yeah, especially with the competition level, I think even your head coach, Mark Pavlik, used to say, it's not your grandpa's EIVA, that all the teams are playing at that elite level. Was it like, really knowing that you don't really have a rest kind of any match you go into?
Yeah, that's kind of the way college athletics is kind of seeming to go. Any day, any game, match, anybody can really come out and kind of be a dog. So it really takes your best all the time.
In the women's game and the men's game, they talk so much about serve, pass. What do you think the most important thing to get these big wins on the road at home is to the game of volleyball?
Yeah, serve and pass is a huge one. Any first contact, I really do think is pretty valuable. I think it's the way the team can rally around each other is a real big one. I mean, you see Penn State in the way that we've been down some games, have been able to fight back in 5 sets. It's really a testament to what the team can do all together. So I think that's the biggest thing.
And how do you kind of foster that again, like off the court? Of course, you guys are a tight-knit group, as well as teammates, your friends, your roommates, your buddies. How do you kind of foster that, kind of make sure that everything clicks?
Yeah, I mean, it's a brotherhood on our team. On and off the court, we're eating together, we're hanging out, kind of doing any activity we can all around each other, because that's where we kind of get better and really build those relationships so we can trust each other in these high-pressure situations.
Talking about relationships, it's hard to talk about Penn State women's volleyball and not think about their national championship legacy of a season. What was it like to support the team next door last year?
Yeah, that was awesome. I mean, they were incredible. That was probably one of the coolest things I've been able to experience here, being at some of these games firsthand and seeing the things that they do and how they've grown throughout the year was pretty impressive too. And the battle with Coach Katie and the way these teams fought, it's just a true testament to what they could do.
When you're watching games like this, just as a fan, as a bystander, are you kind of narrating it? Are you sitting there going, what goes right? What happens? Is just a volleyball brain to you?
Yeah, I mean, of course I'm going to be in the competitive mindset of, man, I wish I could be out there myself. But, these girls, they're incredible. They're the best of the best, and I trust everything they're doing. And it would be cool to play against them one day. A guys versus girls rec hall match would be pretty fun.
I think we should. I don't know, Pat Kraft, if you're listening.
Yeah, hopefully we could get that happening. But yeah, I mean, they're great, so it's definitely fun watching them.
6-5, Penn State on top of Michigan State. Kind of an even kilter set number 3. And it's funny, we talked about that point of view watching the game. That was something that Kristen Kelsey mentions as Leah Schneider sends it into the net, is that they watched the Penn State-Ohio State matchup on Sunday. They had a pizza party at Kristen Kelsey's house because that's their next 2 opponents, and they said it was the same thing. They're just narrating the game. Like, they were kind of all giving out their points, doing all that, and that's kind of fun to see from the mind of a competitive athlete.
Yeah, definitely. I think it goes with any sport. We're just competitive people, and we always want to see each other kind of do the best, no matter what team it is and who's playing. There's always something to kind of cheer for, and you can replicate it into your own game too, which is pretty awesome.
Michael, you're a setter. You touch the ball every time Penn State has it. If you were setting for Kennedy Martin, what part of the game would you want to bring out of her most?
I mean, setting Kennedy Martin would be pretty awesome because it feels like every time you put it up, she's putting it down. So there's really no word to describe a game that I'm bringing out of her, but just putting up the best balls and letting her do her thing. She's a beast.
Yeah, to that point, that's Kennedy Martin's 10th kill. So again, it's extending that streak that every match she's played 3 sets in her collegiate career between Penn State and Florida, she's got double-digit kills. That just speaks to what she's been able to do.
Yeah, I mean, AVCA, if you're listening, that's your All-American right there. That's your player of the year.
Yeah, of course, the Player of the Year, Big Ten Player of the Year, all that conversation, a lot of it has been surrounding Kennedy Martin and just the stats she put up, because the stats really don't lie, really dominating the conference and being up there in the country's conversations as well. Yeah,
I mean, she's incredible, but, I mean, the whole team around her. We're passing well, setting well, our blocks coming along, serving. We're growing as a team right now, and that's kind of the coolest thing to see as these games go along.
And you see that in her freshman, Gabrielle Nichols, getting the kill, stepping into a starting role as well as just a first year.
Yeah, Gabriella, awesome. I mean, anyone that's coming off the bench is doing a really good job right now, and I think they're all kind of rallying around each other.
There you
go.
Yeah. Look at that. Penn State first to double digits in set number 3. Michigan State, it's a gotta-have-it set 3 for them.
Michael, you've played in 2 preseasons, 2 conference play seasons, and 2 postseasons. Talk about what it's like to split those up and be able to be effective in all parts of the season. But for you, you've been so successful in the postseason. How do you build that trust with your team to be able to perform when it counts?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of focus on no championships are won in the regular season. So, well, not the regular season, but, in January when those first few weeks come around, that's our time to get better and kind of build on what we're doing. When postseason hits, that's when we make our money, and that's when we really, kind of try to turn on the Jets, and we all kind of, focus on what we can do better as a team instead of maybe personally as where we would at the start of the year.
And back-to-back Kennedy Martin aces forces Kristen Kelsey to call a timeout. 12-7, Penn State on top of Michigan State. Plus, there's a certain someone on one side that will also be joining the broadcasts for that.
Michael Schwab just had so much good insight to give, and just hearing it from a volleyball player and how much appreciation he has for the women's game, coming from somebody who's very successful at the men's level, so much value to the sport.
And right out of the timeout, Michigan State does get that response. Karolina Stanishevska getting a kill. Also seeing Kai Clayton and Taylor Hold'em check into the game for the Spartans. Clayton checked in once before early in set 3. This is Hold'em's first action of the contest. Yeah, absolutely. It's good to know that when you're an athlete, you always look at the game through that analytical lens.
I feel like it's hard not to because you're a competitor and you just want to see how other people compete.
Martin out of the back row, and Malaya Long calls it out, wisely so. Michigan State cuts the lead to 3.
Thought it was funny how he mentioned that he would love to set Kennedy Martin because she always gets the job done.
And she does. Closing in on a single season record for Penn State. Sitting at 542 kills, 24 away from beating Jess Merzick's record last year, and Nichols off the slide gets one right back.
This is one of the most comfortable I've seen Penn State in a long time, being able to dominate when they have the ball and put points away. And sometimes they just let the teams stick around for too long, but they're doing a great job today, staying so calm.
It's usually where we've seen the opposition kind of take control of that third frame, and then it becomes a dogfight. Now we've seen go 5 quite a lot. Might just be our luck. But a big kill from Stanishevska. Jaravicius almost flying into the broadcast table.
She's been here before, hasn't she, Jack?
Yes. Yeah, usually, but she's sitting with a headset on, not diving at us. That's what I was alluding to. That will probably be on some men's volleyball Big Ten Plus action. It's Caroline Jaravicius. A dual sport athlete in not the typical way. Broadcaster and player, as Maya Bolton sends it long. And Lexi Jin also going to check in for Nichols, and she'll go back to serve. Jin, a player that has been kind of using the serving sub role, has gotten better with her serves as time has gone on. Gathered her first couple of collegiate career aces. With the Nittany Lions up 4. Carmen Way. Comes Jaravicius, opposite pin. Long to Way, and Martin lets it go. And Michigan State immediately calls for a touch. They try to see, did Martin not get out of the way in time? Malaya Long and Karolina Stanishevska stating their claim to stay above 500 in conference play. With their star outside, Karolina Stanishevska, 10 kills on the evening, serving for the Spartans. Martin out of the back row. Again, a flat-footed swing that's saved by Stanishevska. Here comes Mumchalar, almost touching the ceiling, and miscommunication between Jaravicius and Nathan makes it point green-white.
Coach Katie kind of laughing over there, knowing that's out of character for her team. Not really worried that's going to happen again.
That's kind of when you know the vibes are high playing on the court. They'll have to play fast and loose, have a good time. Because that reflects in your play as well. Line going to set right back to Jaravicius, looking for hands, and won't get it. So Michigan State going on a run, cutting the lead to 1. .3-0 run for the Spartans. Stanishevska serving. Mendelson setting for Martin. And over everyone's head.
Coach Katie creeping, not calling the timeout yet, but definitely.
And she does. You spoke a half second too soon. But Penn State up 2-0 in the match. The Spartans on a 4-0 scoring run. Jack Rachinsky joined alongside Michaela Barbonette. So glad you could spend your Friday night with us here on Big Ten Plus as the conference season winds down, tournament play on the horizon. Mendelson on the slide, looking to push through the block and gets it done.
I want to talk a little bit about what it's like to be a bubble team and deal with the when is my season going to end and have those butterflies, and also when it comes down to it, sitting through that selection show, not knowing what is next, if you just played your last game, if you are going to practice next day.
And you've been on both ends of it as well in your first 2 seasons.
Yes. My freshman year, we did not know when we made the tournament, and then my sophomore year, we did not know when we didn't make the tournament. So definitely felt just a realm of emotions there and understanding what it's like to be not only playing to win this game, but something bigger than that. But as an athlete, just needing to focus and lock in on every moment, because the small moments, like I said before, is what's going to get you there ultimately.
Schneider serves. Kennedy Martin tried to get the kill. A big dig from Schneider. She's been incredible in the libero spot tonight. Martin cross court. Save near the table by Bolton. Free ball from Mumchalar. Mendelson on the slide, and she'll end it.
Schneider just giving it everything she has, moving to each and every area of the court to get ups and keep this game alive. Neck and neck, seeing how both teams respond to adversity is going to be who comes out on top in the third set.
Leah Schneider up to 15 digs. It's her 14th game with double digits. And that serve just a bit long. Another point to the Spartans as Evie Duzema checks in for Maya Bolton. Put some more offense on the court for the Spartans with their setter Malaya Long serving. The call crowd gets loud. First touch from Emmy Selman. Back to Kennedy Martin. Running up is Mumchalar over the block. Under it's Jillian Grimes. Mendelson again with the off speed. It doesn't matter. More often than not, it's a kill for Penn State. They go up 1.
Penn State has just done a great job of embracing their role as an offense and knowing that power isn't going to win them every point. What's going to win them points is being unpredictable, changing speeds, and changing who's getting the attack on each ball.
Lyon to Martin, and it pinballs off the antenna, so it'll be a point for Michigan State.
And you don't see that too often. And Kennedy Martin blocked just right back at her. Michigan State has cleaned something up to be able to not stop Kennedy Martin, but be able to contain her.
Martin with 10 kills. That's second on the team behind Mendelson's 11. Here comes Selman. Had to reach for it. Doesn't matter. Back and forth we go in set number 3. Michigan State trying to hold on as Taylor Hold'em will check in for Bianca Mumchalar. So Kristen Kelsey, as we mentioned, not afraid to use different players and switch up the offense.
Each team is playing for something right now. Penn State has another game on Sunday. And understanding that this late in the season, saving your legs is so important. So if they can get out of here in 3, they should do that as a team.
And that was something that Penn State didn't do last year, was give players some rest. We've seen both Maggie Mendelson and Kenny Martin be given rest days by Katie Schumacher-Colley. Of course, earlier in the season, maybe against some non-con opponents where you think you can maybe give a little bit more. All that rest ends up paying dividends. Nichols on the slide, found the back row, beat Hold'em that time.
These seasons aren't a sprint, they're indeed a marathon, and being able to pace yourself so at the end you can finish strong is so important, especially in this conference. Jurevicius
in for foul Dudo. Selman having a strong night, 9 kills, hitting .333. Here comes Stanishevska, got it through the block. And she's fired up. Kill number 11 for her.
Kelsey looking at her staff there with a giggle. Not exactly sure why, but something funny there. I'm not sure.
I don't know what the joke was. I wasn't in on it.
Maybe if we didn't have these headsets on, we would have heard it. But
it was probably really funny.
Yeah. Not a dad joke, though. Those aren't really funny.
You're not a dad joke guy?
I don't know. Maybe I am, honestly.
You learn to appreciate them.
Facts.
Jurevicius off the hands. Long to Stanishevska. Nichols sends the free ball, backing up as Taylor Hold'em. Long tries to set her dump. Lyon pushing for Jurevicius. Back line, Caroline gets kill number 3.
Spartans keeping it very close here, being able to put Penn State in positions where they're a bit off balance, With Penn State being able to just slow it down when they have the ball and get Juravicius on the outside for the kill.
Covering way is Martin. Juravicius tries to push it through. Net play, one for the moment by the Spartans. Juravicius off the antenna, but went off of a Spartan hand first. And for the first time in quite a few points, a 2-point advantage is had, and it's by Penn State as Kristen Kelsey calls a timeout. Season, when Martin has hit below 300, there is something to teams just containing Martin. As Stanishevska, right on cue, gets a big kill.
Exactly what you were saying. Kennedy Martin is still having a phenomenal game because she's performing on sides of the ball where maybe her stats aren't pointing out. But for Michigan State, walking away from this game, if it does end in the third set, being able to say we contain one of the best players in the nation will give them so much confidence.
They're playing Ohio State in Columbus on Sunday. Team with only sitting near the bottom of the Big Ten standings. And Juravicius returned to sender by Malaya Long. So outside at 21, Michigan State using that timeout to their benefit. Stanishevska serving. Off speed under it's Nathan. Juravicius, tough spot. Bolton covers. Out of the middle to Carmen Way. And that's been a sneaky weapon for Michigan State tonight. Carmen Way's 5th kill of the evening.
Started on a rough pass off of the serve, just kind of fell into place over there for the Spartans to be able to take that point, and in a huge moment right now.
They travel out west to face Nebraska and Iowa to wrap out their regular season campaign as Mendelson out of the timeout, ties it at 22.
We talked to Michael, just understanding that as a team, you put yourself in postseason moments. For Penn State, I think this is one of those. Trying to get out of here in 3, being able to push when it's just 3 points away.
Kristen Kelsey talked about living their values, committing to improvement. It's a very gritty team that wants to keep playing, and the Penn State service error gives them a bit of life here. Of course, Kristen Kelsey, her first year in East Lansing as a head coach, one of 5 Big Ten coaches at their alma mater. Katie Schumacher-Colley being one of them as well. And Martin gets it through the block. Cooling and Long, nothing they can do. We're tied at 23, and you might be thinking deuce game as well.
Speaking with Kelsey, she talked about how she wants to turn this program around in a world that's transactional, how to be transformational to these girls and build them into the young women that are going to kill it in the professional world.
Valdudo serves. Comes Mumchalar off the hands. Valdudo plays it up for Selman, and it's match point, Penn State.
And what great communication between Addie Lyon and Ava Valdudo there. Understanding Addie Lyon was there to get the set, but Valdudo took it because she had the better angle to set up for the kill.
There's been times where that has become errors of miscommunication, but that time it works to their benefit. And Emmy Selman kill, her 10th of the night, as Kristen Kelsey talked things over with the referees. They'll play on. Penn State trying to complete the sweep. 4 players for Penn State with double-digit kills tonight. It's been a balanced attack. Selman also with a double-double. Long sets for Mumchalar, and the block, and the win for the Nittany Lions. They take it in 3. A 25-23 set 3 victory, and the